BH3 came together in the middle of 2009 as three separate partners, myself, Daniel Levinson, and Charlie Phelan, when we were working to acquire our first project together, which was Terra Beachside 6000 Collins. We were successfully closed on the note purchase in November of 2009, completed the foreclosure, and then went on to complete the development of the project, which at the time was about 70% complete. Upon completion of the project, we successfully sold the 117 units. And then moved on to Fontainebleau Sorrento simultaneously, where we did a bulk sale of 28 units. And then the company acquired Trump Hollywood, the remaining units at Trump Hollywood, which was 180 of the 200 units in the building. We acquired the note and the mezzanine position from the bank, settled with Related, the original developer, and inherited the licensing agreement with the Trump organization. From November 2010, over the next 18 months, we successfully sold out $300 million of residences at Trump Hollywood. From there, we acquired 1805 Ponce in December of 2012. We're now 90% sold out there as of September 1st of 2013, and Prive is our newest endeavor. BH3 and Gary Cohen came together initially starting in January of 2013 when Gary was looking for a JV partner for the development of the North Island, which his family has owned for decades. Initially, when they acquired the islands, did not know what they would be able to put there, and as the decades have evolved, they were able to get a marina, a bridge, and fast forward, Gary wanted to design a condo project and wanted a partner for the development.
We wanted to create something very unique that matched the island on which it was being built.
Well, out of the gate, we had kind of the same ideas. You know, Gary had spoken to a lot of other people that had this idea of this massive high-rise, as I mentioned before. And what we really sat down and talked about it, and we walked the island and we heard how quiet and secluded it was, so much privacy there, that we thought it was really important to maintain that, and that's how we came up with this concept.
I fell in love with it the first second because I've been looking at this island for 18 years. I've done many of the buildings around it, so I've been looking down at it forever. I never had been fortunate enough to step on it. The minute I stepped on that island, I just knew I had to have it. I knew I had to be part of it before I even knew what the building was going to be. That's how special this location is.
The inspiration for Prive really came as a collective decision when we first sat down with Gary, going back to earlier this year, when we're looking at this gem of an island that sits in the middle of the Intracoastal. You've got 8 acres, and it really became a question of what product are we going to put here, what's deserving of the island. And what we came up with was something that we felt had to be so exclusive and private that we came up with the design that is now Prive, which is very modern, contemporary, with amenities that are unrivaled at any other project in South Florida.
We wanted it to match the natural elements that it's surrounded by and sitting on. Dumbfoundling Bay is where the island rests. It's just north of 8 acres, and it's surrounded by sea, air, and not far from the ocean. We wanted a building that wasn't just a silo tower. This is where we came up with the 16-story concept with 2 matching towers that allowed for light and air to flow through by day, and then that the buildings themselves have a texture and an aesthetic that provides for a beautiful appeal from the eye of someone going past in a boat or otherwise.
You have an island, you have water, a bay completely surrounding you, and then you have the background, which is the ocean, and an array of buildings along the edge of the ocean. So it's more a building that just opens itself up, you know, takes advantage of the views out to the ocean, the views out to the bay, and then the internal parts where you can see out are neutral.
We feel that the island itself lends to privacy, and we thought 160 units was the perfect size for that space. So we want people to own their own little piece of the island, because we want them to go out and enjoy the island and enjoy the space that they'll have in the interiors.
The way I look at it is it's 160 unique pieces of art we created more for fewer discerning buyers, for wealthy clientele that want to buy irreplaceable real estate in South Florida.
Prive is really being built for the clientele that wants to be separate from the pack, that likes to have security and seclusion. They don't want to be like everyone else. And that's really who it was designed for, because we're not like everyone else. We have amenities that no one else has. We have services and service levels that no one else has.
The trend has been for larger units. So we're offering units from like 2,600 feet to 6,000 feet. And the place is really selling to anybody who wants privacy and wants something special. It's the last buildable island in South Florida.
The buyer profile is buying it's an upscale person. It's probably more second, third, and fourth homes than it is first homes. They're looking for privacy and exclusiveness and luxuriousness, and we have all three of them. And that's what's attracting them. Our buyers are really coming, they're buyers that are looking for the ocean, and they go there and they see that the prices are basically almost double over at the ocean, and they can get twice the square footage with us, with more privacy, more exclusiveness, more luxuriousness on their own private islands surrounded by water all over.
There are people from New York, there are people from Sao Paulo, there are people from Rio, there are people from Moscow. This could be a permanent residence, this could be a third home, a fourth home, a fifth home. What they will all be looking for is the same thing, world-class elegance. And they will definitely receive that at Prive.
These guys on 8 acres could have built probably 400 or 500 units. They chose to build only 160. These are going to be big units, super luxury, the finest quality, the finest attention to detail, the most service-rich environment of any other project that we've worked on heretofore in the South Florida marketplace, that it's a compelling story to tell.
We didn't want to put some big 35, 40-story high-rise. We wanted somebody who understood the privacy of the island without building the walls and blocking the views and taking nature away.
In designing the layout, we sought to take maximum advantage of that 360-degree panorama, and particularly to the east, which is pure ocean.
When you have the greenery and the blue from the water, you never want to fight the surrounding elements. You have to almost take a back seat. This will be the most timeless condominium project that has ever been built in South Florida.
You look at Prive, we're at 8.5 acres, so we're able to spread out and get much more room to the actual buyer. So he's going to have a much more natural experience at Prive. He's going to have much more green space and much more opportunity to enjoy the outdoors. Also, you have the island there that is very special. So having that green space on your own secluded island that's very quiet and very nice is actually a very special thing.
The unique thing about Prive is that as a result of the natural geography of this 8 acres sitting in the center of this huge bay, is that privacy is born not of walls, but of open air, sea, and sky.
To live on an island is always, in my opinion, takes you to a very different place.
The floor plans are some of the most well thought out floor plans I've ever seen. The minute you get off the elevator, you're looking at the water. The terraces are the largest terraces I've ever seen. They're all 10 feet wide on both sides. They have summer kitchens on them. It actually becomes part of the living experience. I've never seen another building in Miami that every single bedroom in the entire building is looking at the water. But it goes beyond that. So now the people have the island, the apartment, and then it comes down to the amenities.
You have 20,000 square feet divided over the 2 buildings of spa and health facilities, 10,000 square feet per building. That's more than some buildings with 200 plus units on the beach. Then you have guest suites if they want to buy extra space on top of their homes in the sky. You have private garages. You have dog grooming facilities, tennis, outdoor playground, jogging trail, nature path, library, cigar room, and countless other amenities that make someone's life on this island totally self-contained to the extent they wanted it.